KEEL, I'm Ruben Wright.
A full audit of the city's financial condition for 2018 now final, and it shows bad news in the are troubling. For 11th, 2000.
Keep those families in your prayers that lost loved ones on that day.
There's an event this morning at Liberty Garden in Bossier City. Many other events.
Is lethally injected. Fox News.
Recall of children's KEEL. If you're female, then you get $240. Findings are troubling. A hot
The KEEL Morning Show with Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning, just after 6, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, and lots of local news, and Miss Erin has that up next.
We pause today to remember September 11th. Lots of local events will be happening. The mayor speaks out about a Shreveport police officer accused of kicking a suspect, and it won't be long before Shreveport has a new police chief.
Let's see, big day at the city council yesterday. We will review. I have sort of a financial conundrum.
Okay.
A theoretical decision for you to make.
All right.
You, for a short time, will be Erin McCarty, agent to the stars.
Ooh.
Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
The KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
We pause today to remember September 11th, 2001, when terrorists attacked our country, leaving nearly 3,000 dead. Several big events are planned in our community today to remember the lives lost and the heroes. State Fire Marshal Butch Browning is commemorating the anniversary by seeking donations to construct a museum to house the Spirit of Louisiana fire truck that was built by donations and sent to New York following the attacks.
We set out to raise money shortly after the attacks in September to build this fire truck. I think our goal was about $250,000. The reality is we actually raised $1.1 million.
You can see the full list of events on our website, keelnews.com. Mayor Adrian Perkins now speaking out about a Shreveport police officer accused of kicking a suspect in the head. Video shows Corporal Dylan Hudson kicking the suspect in the head while making an arrest back on August 5th.
What I've committed to is community-oriented policing, and every time we get an instance like that again is unacceptable and deplorable, it eats away at the public trust that we need in order to implement that program.
Perkins says the officer is on unpaid leave pending a full investigation, and this kind of action will not be tolerated. It won't be long before Shreveport has a new police chief. Reuben Wright with that.
Mayor Adrian Perkins is expected to make his choice for police chief by September 24th, when he will present that candidate to the full city council. The Citizens Advisory Committee meets Friday to begin examining the 7 candidates for the job. They will recommend a list of 3 finalists to the mayor. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
A full audit of the city's financial condition for 2018 is now final, and it shows bad news in the finance department. One councilman says the report is horrible. Another says the findings are troubling. City Council moving forward with a traffic light at Wallace Lake and Southern Loop. The Parish Commission will help fund that light. 1 year ago, there was quite a controversy over a logo on the Benton High School football field that featured the word Christ. Students at Benton High were told to cover up the word on the logo for the Christ Fit Gym after the ACLU objected to the business name being on the field for all to see. There was a legal fight. The logo was put back. Now the logo is back on the field this year. So far, no legal skirmish at this point. A Houghton man locked up accused of having inappropriate sexual relations with children over the past few years. 45-year-old Saunders King Jr. faces several charges. Bill Davis with the Bossier Sheriff's Office says King was suspected in a similar case involving a preteen back in 2016, but was ultimately not arrested. He says that all changed recently.
Another juvenile came to us here in August who was solicited by King via social media, and that then shed light to the other crime, which we were able to tie them together.
Davis says the case is an important reminder for parents to keep a close eye on their children's digital conversations. Parents who've lost their driver's license due to falling behind on child support only have 3 weeks left to correct the issue as part of the On the Road Again project. DCFS Children for Support Sandra Broussard says the goal of the program is clear.
To collect some of that money that was past due and put it in the homes of the families, and then give the non-custodial parents an opportunity for them to get their licenses back.
The program ends September 30th. Mall walkers no longer welcome at a nearly empty complex in Baton Rouge. Cortana Mall officials have posted signs saying they're banning mall walkers for liability reasons. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.107 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic time for Wednesday. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off, looking pretty clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Hearn Avenue near Greenwood Road. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high, 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
.107 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The KEEL app is a free download from Office Furniture Source.
Best way to listen to us. We are sexier on the app, and we just sound.
You're a lot thinner.
Oh, yeah.
I have,
you have tons of hair.
I have larger muscles.
You've got Elvis hair.
What's the kid's name?
Bruno Mars?
Yes. Yes. That's why you piss me off so much.
Rube.
Okay.
No, it's why Ruben.
He keeps his long, beautiful hair so short.
He goes buzz. You go like 2 all over, and you wear a cap.
I showed Robert a picture of myself when I was like 16, and he immediately got pissed off and started yelling at me.
He hates you. Yeah, he hates you.
I had long,
Here's my
I had
theory
long
on
hair
this.
down to my shoulders.
See, I had hair till I was about 50, and then heredity kicked in.
Right.
And so now when I see somebody, how old are you? 20?
I'm 32.
32, halfway to 64. And so just a reminder.
Right, yeah,
just
sure.
a friendly
Yes,
reminder. The point I'm making is anytime I see anybody with a full head of hair
You're angry.
who wears a buzz cut. No. I'm not like a recovering alcoholic. You know, I've told you about the guy that fired me in Michigan.
You're a hairaholic. Yeah.
I told you about that guy. He came out of rehab and he was the angriest, sober guy in the world.
Fired everybody.
You'd go to a restaurant, and if there was somebody at the table next to him having a glass of wine, it would ruin his day.
Yes.
Because they could drink and he couldn't. I'm that guy. Yeah. Okay? That's who I am. When I see somebody like this guy,
Robert,
who has a full head of hair and wears like a 1 or a 2 buzz cut all over.
Stop.
2 all over.
If I had his hair, I would have that Bruno Mars tsunami of hair right there. This big
the pompadour.
wave
Yeah.
of hair.
Why don't we take you to a place?
We were going to, if you remember.
And you know, we can fade it in. So it's
Right.
so it's a faded type wig situation. So it's
Sergeant-
not just like a
See?
raccoon on your head.
The best thing about having a new producer is, who really hasn't been around us that much,
Yeah.
is that you don't know any of the stories.
I barely, yeah.
I mean, we've been doing this for 23 years.
Right.
You don't know
man.
any of the stories.
I am not caught up.
So we can play stuff. We can replay
we can talk
stuff.
about powdered hair.
This is
Yeah.
okay. So here's the deal. In the latter days of KVKI,
Oh
Sure.
my God.
I was ruminating one morning on the radio, and I said, you know, there's bound to be somebody in Shreveport who sells, and I have no idea how much they would cost. I would think
We could work a deal.
a couple of grand, 2,500, 3,000. I have no idea what a really, really, really good hairpiece would cost.
Yeah, we don't want a raccoon or a squirrel on his head.
Right.
But I would imagine, I have no idea. I've never priced it. You can get them for $39.99 on eBay. Those I've priced.
That's a nutria.
But they look like roadkill. The point I was going to make was, I have no idea what a really good toupee would cost. I would imagine a couple to $3,000, right?
Probably.
So I thought, well, there's got to be somebody, I don't know who, in Shreveport sells really good toupees. And I thought, what we need to do is get this guy or gal in one morning
Bring
with
some samples.
with 3 toupees. And what we do is I would try each of the 3 on.
Right.
We would do photographs, and then we would put each of the photographs on the website.
Oh, and you could vote. Yeah.
and let people
yeah.
vote
Oh, wow.
for which hair I looked
I'd
better
campaign
with.
for the I'd campaign for the nutria.
Which hair I looked better with. And here's why I decided no. What if I really liked it?
Right.
Oh,
then you'd
man.
have to wear it.
What if the guy came in with like a $25,000 or $3,000 and he was willing to do the deal? Robert, you talk about me once every 3 or 4 days. Robert J. Wright for Joe's hair, and I will trade it out for you. We'll do the deal. It's done. But the point is, I still
Yeah.
would have to glue hair on every morning.
You could just leave it on permanently.
And when you go to play golf, you're wearing a hat over your hat. No, it would just, no. I couldn't, no.
That glue, that wig glue lasts 3 or 4 days.
I don't know.
You could just leave it there. You wouldn't have to take it on and off.
You have to shower.
It's not like teeth.
You can't shampoo with those
I know
things.
you take your teeth out.
No. If I looked really good.
Well,
and
you shower with it on. You gotta wash it.
you don't know. No.
Yes.
No, that's not how it works.
I think you can shower with it on.
No, I know people who own toupees. No.
Yeah.
And good ones. Some full wigs. that are like skull caps with hair.
Oh, yeah.
Shower caps with hair.
Yeah.
No, I'm just afraid, no, it would be too much bother.
Well, we need a wig company.
And if I loved it, if I really looked good, if suddenly women hurled at themselves at me.
Yeah, if panties are flying.
Oh, my God. You look 24. You look 30.
Man.
I know. Don't play to a man's vanity.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a reason guys wear toupees to begin with.
Right.
There's a reason guys wear, you know how many, I looked this up. It was almost like, what was it? Almost $10 million a year in shoes with lifts that people buy.
Wow.
To be taller.
I'm almost 6'1". I'm fine. But if I looked good with a toupee, trust me, the temptation would be overwhelming.
Oh, you'd be wearing that thing everywhere.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Guests on the list this morning.
We have Royal Alexander joining us from Baton Rouge. This is September 11th, and I cannot believe it's been 18 years ago since the terror attacks. And he was in the nation's capital on that morning. And his stories are incredible.
I found a story last night. And it's Flight 93, the one that crashed in Pennsylvania, the one that the passengers brought down.
Yeah, let's roll.
And I found a story. There's a new book out, and there was an excerpt an excerpt from that book. And I literally was in tears reading the excerpt from the book. Sorry, I mean, it's getting to me right now. And I will attempt, a little bit later, to read to you an excerpt of what I found last night. And it's the book. The book is written by one of the Air Force pilots. There were two. The book was written by one of the Air Force pilots that was flying alongside Flight 93.
Wow.
And wait until you hear what he has to say. And do you know what their mission was? Do you know what their mission was? The two Air Force pilots. Do you know what it was?
No, I don't.
I'll tell you this much. We'll do it at the 40 segment, I promise. They were not armed with missiles. The base from which they took off was not. They did not have the armament necessary to shoot down that plane. They looked for two volunteers, and they would have, with their fighter jets, at the order, at the command, rammed the plane. And they went up, assuming they would have to do that, and were willing to do that. And one of those pilots wrote a book about that day.
Whew.
And
Strong.
we'll do that in about 20 minutes. 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic time right now. Here's Harry O'Rubin.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Time for sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Joe Burrow picked up the Maxwell Awards Offensive Player of the Week for his outstanding performance last Saturday against Texas. Burrow has won the SEC Offensive Player of the Week back-to-back weeks as well, and has gone from a 300-1 long shot to win the Heisman to among the favorites at 5-1. LSU welcomes Ed Orgeron's alma mater, Northwestern State, this Saturday night. The Tigers will don purple jerseys accompanied by white helmets in their matchup with the Demons. The Raiders knocked off the Texans 21-7 last night. Wait a second. It was actually the A's who beat the Astros 21-7 last night. One day after Houston waxed Oakland 15-0, the A's returned the favor with a blowout win. Oakland hit 6 homers and collected 25 hits. That's their most in a 9-inning game since June of 1969, when they also had 25 hits in a 21-7 win over Boston. George Springer and Martin Maldonado each homered twice for the Stros. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
FM 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. Yeah, your poll yesterday, because you broke down. We'll explain to everybody what you did. Then I want you to cover the city council meeting, the real final vote yesterday.
City council meeting yesterday was pretty benign. They just put the propositions on the ballot officially for November. But I separated them.
Was it still 4-3?
You know, I'm sure it was. I didn't even look. It was boring. They didn't even hardly discuss it.
No yelling.
They just no, they didn't discuss it much at all.
No slaps in the face with a glove.
Yeah.
Challenging them to a duel.
I'm wanting to tell you though, our poll at keelnews.com, things have changed since we last spoke about this, because we have this up on our website about how you plan to vote on these different propositions, and he broke them down into the 3 propositions. And here's how it looks today. You ready for this?
Do me a favor, as you are reviewing those, as you're bringing us up to date on the poll numbers, read the way at the website at keelnews.com. Download the Keel app; it's free. The wording in your poll is exactly the way, correct? Exactly the way, except for a lot of illegal stuff, is exactly the way it's going to appear on the ballot. Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah, like I put the exact verbiage. The headline of the story is, "What will the ballot on the bond proposals look like?"
Okay, go ahead.
And then the verbiage on Proposition 1 for water and sewer, it's got a lot of mumbo-jumbo, not exceeding blah, 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 blah. Then it says, "For the purpose of constructing, acquiring, and or improving the water and sewer system and appurtenances thereto, and acquiring the necessary land or rights therein, equipment and furnishings, therefore, which bonds will be general obligation bonds."
What's the amount on that?
The amount on that one is $32 million.
Okay.
And the poll question is thusly: how will you vote on Prop 1, which provides $32 million for water and sewer projects? 62% say they will vote yes. 34% now say no. And 4% are undecided.
It's a big turnaround from yesterday.
Somebody must have shared this baby somewhere.
Vote early, vote often.
Yeah, no doubt. Number 2, how will you vote on Proposition 2, which provides $76 million for police, fire, and SPAR projects. 74% say yes, 23% say no, and 3% are undecided. And the third one, how will you vote on Prop 3, which provides $77 million for street and drainage projects? 61% say they'll vote yes, 35% say no, and 4% are undecided.
And just to clarify, about a week or so ago, you had put up a poll based. It did not separate the different
Right.
the three pieces of the overall proposal.
And yesterday, this poll was up, and it was like 70% voting no.
Well,
it's just getting out there.
Your earlier poll had been 74%
Yeah.
no.
Now, again, this is unscientific, so any of these pollsters or demographers or whatever you are, I know it's unscientific. I get that, so don't text me or call. It's a stupid poll. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
How do they say it again?
It's a stupid poll. It
That's how
don't
they
matter.
talk, too.
Yeah.
All of them, every last one.
It's unscientific, but man, the tide has changed, or somebody from the administration or the city has gotten it out there going, folks, we need to give our opinion on this because it matters. I don't know. I'm going to see who shared it.
If for no other reason, you want a quick look at how it's going to be worded on the ballot.
Oh, yeah.
In November. Mm-hmm. I mean, just because she didn't read all the humming legal stuff.
Yeah, I didn't humming on
Doesn't mean rather that it's not in there for you to look at.
Oh, you're going to have a lot of humming.
And read in toto, in completion, the complete.
Because it doesn't say we're going to get a police substation. I'm just giving you a heads up.
The complete phrasing of all three.
Right.
Of the parts of the proposal.
Like they say, they didn't say we were going to get a Cross Bayou Park back in '96, so we didn't get one.
Why don't you take a couple of minutes here? We're going to news break. Before you come back with news, go down the hall, go into the ladies' room, untangle those panties, and then come back.
I need to.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Good Lord, looks like a tail on a kite. Traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
We know more about a police officer accused of kicking a suspect. Reuben Wright has the latest.
Mayor Perkins now speaks out about a Shreveport police officer accused of kicking a suspect in the head. Video shows Corporal Dylan Hudson kicking a suspect in the head while making an arrest on August 5th. 32-year-old Markeel Tyson was on the ground being detained when he was kicked. Charges against Tyson were dropped. Perkins says the officer is on unpaid leave pending a full investigation. Councilman Willie Bradford says that kind of action should not be tolerated. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
A full audit of the city's financial condition for 2018 now final, and it shows bad news in the city's finance department. One councilman says the report is horrible. Another says the findings are troubling. A Houghton man is locked up accused of having inappropriate sexual relations with preteen and teenage juveniles over the past few years. 45-year-old Saunders King Jr. faces a list of charges. We pause today to remember September 11th, 2001, when terrorists attacked our country, leaving nearly 3,000 dead. Several big events are planned in our community today to remember the lives lost and the heroes. Mayor Perkins has this message for residents.
Keep those families in your prayers that lost loved ones on that day, and those families that are continually losing loved ones in the wars that we're fighting. Don't forget them.
There's an event this morning on the Shreveport Riverfront, another event planned at the Liberty Garden in Bossier City, many other events as well. You can see the full list on our website, KEELnews.com. Another convicted killer put to death in Texas. We get more on that from Jack Callahan.
Mark Anthony Solis lethally injected Tuesday evening for the shooting death of 61-year-old grandmother Nancy Weatherly in June of 2010. Just as the lethal dose of pentobarbital began, Solis looked through the glass into the witness area at Weatherly's son and daughter-in-law and said to them, "I hope y'all forgive me." Then he gasped, snorted, and appeared to fall asleep. He was declared dead 18 minutes later. Solis, the second Texas inmate to be executed within a week. Another execution is scheduled 2 weeks from today. Jack Callahan, Fox News.
Recall of children's pajamas for failing to meet federal flammability standards. The pajamas are made by Ragdoll and Rockets. They were sold at clothing stores throughout the country and online. The recall involves 5 different styles of the 100% micro polyester fleece pajamas. And a new Ms. Monopoly game is out. When you start the game, women start out with more money, and when you pass go, you collect $200. Unless you're female, then you get $240. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. LSU football coach Ed Orgeron confirmed that the Tigers did not have air conditioning. Wow. In the locker room Saturday night for their game against Texas.
There is no excuse for that.
What was it, like about 98 degrees?
Oh, it was hot. And, you know, inside a stadium like that, that heat, with all those big, bulky, burly guys in all that heavy equipment. Oh, do you know how hot that is?
Orgeron said, so you think it's on purpose?
Oh, come on, Robert. You can bring in portable cooling fans or whatever you have to do.
Orgeron, here's the interesting part about this. Orgeron said he had called Louisiana Tech, Texas Week 1 opponent, before the game in anticipation. And in anticipation had his team bring extra fans. In other words, okay, let me read this again. I don't mean fans like 2, 3, 4, 5,
no,
who
like,
we appreciate.
Like
okay,
Whirlybird
that's like
fans.
The worst cheerleader chant of all time. I apologize. Orgeron, but like he was warned that Texas is going to turn off the air conditioning.
They turned it off on Tech?
Orgeron said he called Louisiana, or at least they didn't repair in the intervening week.
Oh, my.
Orgeron said he called Louisiana Tech, Texas Week 1 opponent, before the game, and in anticipation had his team bring extra fans. According to official stats, the game time temperature was 98 degrees.
Ooh.
Here's theadvocate.com quoting Orgeron. First of all, I called Louisiana Tech, and they told us about it, Orgeron said. So we did some things in the dressing room to make it better. It wasn't great, but it was better. At least we had some air in there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have air. We had some blowers, some fans. I don't think that caused as much as going out there and having to play 93 plays on defense, but I think the heat in the dressing room had a lot to do with it. Texas athletic director Chris Del Conte said in a written statement that Orgeron's comments are the first we've heard on any issues in this area.
God bless me.
And that we've confirmed that our air conditioning in the visiting locker room is in good working order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so according to the Texas AD, quote, we've confirmed the air conditioning in the locker room is in good working order.
Yeah.
After it didn't work for Louisiana Tech and it didn't work for LSU.
Right.
So if it's in good working order and it didn't work for Louisiana Tech and it didn't work for LSU, it's not an insane
Nobody knows about it?
It's not an insane extrapolation to say, well, then you had to turn it off on purpose.
Yeah.
If it works,
and somebody hit the switch.
Our facility staff did not receive any complaints from either Louisiana Tech or LSU.
Come on.
Athletic officials at Louisiana Tech reached for comment and
liar, Longhorn on fire.
Did not respond. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, traffic time. Ruben Heath.
Starting things off, looking pretty clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Hearn Avenue near Greenwood Road. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high, 98. Richard Duettig, the Weather Channel.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. I found this last night.
What did we say we were going to talk about at 40? We said something. I forgot.
That's what I'm going to talk about.
Okay, good. Thank
that
you.
Book
You
I
remember.
found. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Let me read the headline to you because it's a 9/11 thing, and I found it last night. New 9/11 account recalls harrowing moments before Flight 93 crash. That was the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania when literally the passengers knowing that because they were on their cell phones with people. They knew what had happened in New York City. They knew what had happened at the Pentagon.
And they knew their plane wasn't going where it was supposed to go.
And so they, a number of them, literally stormed the cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
And the plane crashed in in rural Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a book out, and it's written. It's written by, I'll explain it to you. It'll be self-explanatory. New 9/11 account recalls harrowing moments before Flight 93 crash. Quote, "I'll ram the cockpit." They made, here's in quotes, they made the decision we didn't have to make. Those are the words of Lieutenant Colonel Mark Sasseville, as he recalls 18 years later in a new account of the September 11th, 2001 attacks from the perspective of decision makers in Washington, survivors, military service members, and families of those aboard United Flight 93 hijacked before passengers fought back and brought down the plane. Sasseville, an F-16 Air Force pilot who, along with Lieutenant Heather Penny, tasked with stopping Flight 93 by any means necessary from being weaponized like the jets at the World Trade Center and Pentagon earlier that morning, lauded the brave passengers for doing exactly that, sacrificing themselves to foil the terrorists. But the new book, The Only Plane in the Sky, An Oral History of 9/11 by Garrett Graff, details the harrowing moments before it all ended. Let me scroll down here and pick it up, okay? As bad as the events of 9/11 were, some of us had practiced exercises far more dangerous and difficult circumstances, including the prospect of an all-out Soviet nuclear attack on the U.S., Sasseville recalls. That helped. That training kicked in that morning. When United 93 was tracked as heading toward Washington, D.C., he was prepared to give the order to bring it down. It ended up being unnecessary. As the passengers took matters into their own hands, the men and women on the flight had learned about what had already happened at the World Trade Center and Pentagon and were determined to fight back to prevent a similar attack.
I got chill bumps now. He's ready to shoot down an American plane.
Wait, no. Accounts from phone operators and loved ones who spoke to passengers aboard the flight before they brought it crashing down in a Pennsylvania field, killing themselves and the hijackers. We were waiting until it was over a rural area. We're going to take back the plane, passenger Tom Burnett said, according to his wife, Dina, who spoke to him on the phone while it was in the air. She said, pleading with him not to do anything to endanger himself, but he insisted, if they're going to crash this plane, we have to do something. Verizon airphone operator Lisa Jefferson spoke about her conversation with passenger Todd Beamer.
I've heard that.
I could hear the commotion in the background. I heard the flight attendant screaming, she said. Beamer's wife was pregnant with their third child at the time, but when Jefferson offered to connect him to her, he declined so as not to upset her. Jefferson said he gave her his home phone number and asked Jefferson, the operator, to call his wife if something happened. Jefferson then heard Beamer ask someone else, "Are you ready?" Then he said, "Let's roll." Now back to the Air Force guy, Sasseville.
What was he going to do to take the plane down?
They were not armed. The base from which they took off, those planes, those F-16s, were not armed with the missiles necessary to shoot down the plane. Their orders, Sasseville's and Penny was the other pilot.
No, they weren't.
They were going to crash into the planes.
Knowing they're going to die too.
Yes.
Oh.
That was their job. That was the mission. And they went. That was the opening line. I'll take the cockpit. He was going to crash his F-16 plane.
Into that big monster plane.
Yeah.
He's going to die.
Mm-hmm. And so was she.
And they were willing to do it.
Evidently so.
Wow.
The opening line. They made the decision, meaning the people on that plane. They made the decision that we didn't have to.
That's incredible. What an incredible story. Incredible.
And he said to her, I'll take the cockpit.
Unbelievable.
What kind of people are those? And I mean that with all the admiration and praise. What kind of men and women are those? I've said this 100 times, and I say it on Veterans Day. I say it on Memorial Day. They don't know me. They don't know if I'm a good guy or a bad. Your father, for example, a hero at Okinawa, Bronze Star.
Mm-hmm.
He was defending an idea. He was defending America as a whole and the idea of America being a good place.
Mm-hmm.
And those two pilots and those people on that airplane, just like your father for that stretch of time in 1944 and 45.
Willing to die.
For an idea, for a place.
Mm-hmm. Do you have that in you? I don't know. I would like to think I would, but I can't guarantee you that. Can anyone? I'd like to
the
think
people
I could.
On that airplane did.
No doubt. No doubt.
On Flight 93. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Right now, here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking pretty clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Hearn Avenue near Greenwood Road. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high, 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
FM, 710 Keel Sports Time. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Joe Burrow picked up the Maxwell Awards Offensive Player of the Week for his outstanding performance last Saturday against Texas. Burrow has won the SEC Offensive Player of the Week back-to-back weeks as well and has gone from a 300-1 long shot to win the Heisman to among the favorites at 5-1. LSU welcomes Ed Orgeron's alma mater, Northwestern State, this Saturday night. The Tigers will don purple jerseys accompanied by white helmets in their matchup with the Demons. The Raiders knocked off the Texans 21-7 last night. Wait a second. It was actually the A's who beat the Astros 21-7 last night. One day after Houston waxed Oakland 15-0, the A's returned the favor with a blowout win. Oakland hit 6 homers and collected 25 hits. That's their most in a 9-inning game since June of 1969, when they also had 25 hits in a 21-7 win over Boston. George Springer and Martin Maldonado each homered twice for the Stros. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.107 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. You were just twitching down there. What?
Mm-hmm. Royal Alexander joining us at about 7:10. He was in D.C. on 9/11, and his stories are kind of amazing. I'm excited about Saturday, by the way.
What happens Saturday?
Saturday, you're gonna die. I think that's the day.
Wow.
That's the way I set it up a few months ago, by the way.
I think we have. Yeah. Did that sound? For those of you who might be listening to the show for the first time.
And, you're invited to come watch. Now, you do have to pay to get in, I think. It's a little admission fee.
This sounds like the weirdest threat ever.
Yeah.
No, I don't
come
think it
watch
is.
Robert die.
Yeah.
Mesmer Stadium, high noon, Saturday.
Right there.
High noon.
High noon. I signed you up for a flag football game.
Do not forsake me, oh my darling.
And it's a celebrity football game.
Yeah.
And the mayor will be there. Scott Musket will be there. Doug Warner from Channel 12. Adria Goins going to be there.
Adria Goins.
Adria.
Is it Adria?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Now
she's going to pummel you
now
too.
She's going to kneecap me too.
You're out. You're dead.
Freaking great.
They are going to so check you. Tim Fletcher.
What makes you think that all these people would be prone to violence toward me? If there is one of the two of us in this room who has ruffled the most feathers over the years,
I'm not playing.
Who has rubbed the most people the wrong way.
Well, I'm coaching. I'm going to tell them to rub you the wrong way.
On the sidelines. On the sideline. First of all,
take out right.
First of all, virtually none of the people that you mentioned, bluntly speaking, can still run.
The mayor can run.
Yeah. But,
Musket's going to be on skates. He'll be all right.
The mayor doesn't need a video of him blindsiding a 67-year-old man.
He's going to do it subtly.
Really?
He's going to shoulder check you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a shoulder check.
He's going to look down and say, Erin sent me?
Yeah, absolutely. It's you're going to have surgery.
Details be up on the website later. It's Saturday noon at Mesmer Stadium. YMCA kicking off their flag football season.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you clowns. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush.
The president of the Teamsters, James P. Hoffa, the only son of Jimmy Hoffa, who was also a president of the Teamsters, now dead, is disappointed. Jimmy Jr. says the Democrat presidential candidates have not discussed kitchen table issues that are important to unions. Now, sure, at the last Democrat debate, there was plenty of talk about health care and trade. Both are important. But there was not a word from the Democrats about pension plans and retirement security. That's a huge oversight, says Jimmy Jr., who's still alive. Now, this is a warning, folks. The Teamsters have 1.5 million members. Union dues from Teamsters and other big unions provide the manpower and the money to help get Democrats elected every election cycle. Now, union boss Jimmy Hoffa Jr., he wants to get what his union is paying for. He wants to know what the Democrats are going to do to hold up their end of the bargain in this unholy alliance. Jimmy Hoffa Jr. wants Democrat candidates to spell out how they plan to use the federal government to shore up union pension funds and how they're going to make sure that his union members get their retirement money, even if unions are too broke to pay for what they promised. Now, these Democrat hopefuls, they can ignore Boss Hoffa if they want to, but if they do, they're going to pay for it. Rest assured. The next stadium construction site, you watch. Owning land is an honor, but it's also a big responsibility. So you need the right tractor to ease the burden of maintaining the land that you love. You need a Mahindra. And right now, Mahindra wants to ease the burden on your budget, too, by giving you 2 great ways to save. You can take home a tough and reliable Mahindra tractor without paying interest. That's right, Mahindra is offering 0% interest. Or you can choose to save thousands of dollars by taking advantage of special Mahindra deals going on right now. I invite you to be a good steward of your land and learn how to get more Mahindra for your money at MahindraUSA.com or at your local Mahindra dealer.
0% APR financing available for a limited time only. See us or go to MahindraUSA.com for more information. Take advantage of rock bottom prices and test drive a Mahindra today at Kelly Tractor and Equipment in Longview or visit kellytractor.net. That's kellytractor.net.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, where the channel forecast. Guess what? Sunny and hot and humid again today, but not 100. High today, middle to upper 90s. Right now, 71 at Keel, 7 o'clock, Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. KEEL, 710 AM and K269GO, 1017 FM, Shreveport. The KEEL Morning Show with Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Just past 7 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. In local news, Erin standing by.
Mayor Perkins speaks out about a Shreveport police officer accused of kicking a suspect in the head. 1 year ago, there was quite a controversy over the word Christ on a local football field. Well, the word's back now, and no legal fight, it doesn't look like. And the city's financial condition for 2018, the audit doesn't look good.
Local attorney Royal Alexander joins us in about 7 or 8 minutes. He was in Washington, D.C. on this date in 2001 when things got more than a little intense, hectic, terror-filled, I would think.
Oh, absolutely.
He will relate his story to us in just a couple of seconds. Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
We pause today to remember September 11th, 2001, when terrorists attacked our country, leaving nearly 3,000 dead. Several big events are planned in our community today to remember the lives lost and the heroes. State Fire Marshal Butch Browning is commemorating the anniversary by seeking donations to construct a museum to house the Spirit of Louisiana fire truck that was built by donations and sent to New York following the attacks.
We set out to raise money shortly after the attacks in September to build this fire truck. I think our goal was about $250,000. The reality is we actually raised $1.1 million.
You can see the full list of events on our website, keelnews.com. Mayor Adrian Perkins now speaking out about a Shreveport police officer accused of kicking a suspect in the head. Video shows Corporal Dylan Hudson kicking the suspect in the head while making an arrest back on August 5th.
What I've committed to is community-oriented policing, and every time we get an instance like that again is unacceptable and deplorable, it eats away at the public trust that we need in order to implement that program.
Perkins says the officer is on unpaid leave pending a full investigation, and this kind of action will not be tolerated. It won't be long before Shreveport has a new police chief. Reuben Wright with that.
Mayor Adrian Perkins is expected to make his choice for police chief by September 24th, when he will present that candidate to the full city council. The Citizens Advisory Committee meets Friday to begin examining the 7 candidates for the job. They will recommend a list of 3 finalists to the mayor. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
A full audit of the city's financial condition for 2018 is now final, and it shows bad news in the finance department. One councilman says the report is horrible. Another says the findings are troubling. City Council moving forward with a traffic light at Wallace Lake and Southern Loop. The Parish Commission will help fund that light. 1 year ago, there was quite a controversy over a logo on the Benton High School football field that featured the word Christ. Students at Benton High were told to cover up the word on the logo for the Christ Fit Gym after the ACLU objected to the business name being on the field for all to see. There was a legal fight. The logo was put back. Now the logo is back on the field this year. So far, no legal skirmish at this point. A Houghton man locked up accused of having inappropriate sexual relations with children over the past few years. 45-year-old Saunders King Jr. faces several charges. Bill Davis with the Bossier Sheriff's Office says King was suspected in a similar case involving a preteen back in 2016, but was ultimately not arrested. He says that all changed recently.
Another juvenile came to us here in August who was solicited by King via social media, and that then shed light to the other crime, which we were able to tie them together.
Davis says the case is an important reminder for parents to keep a close eye on their children's digital conversations. Parents who've lost their driver's license due to falling behind on child support only have 3 weeks left to correct the issue as part of the On the Road Again project. DCFS Children for Support Sandra Broussard says the goal of the program is clear.
To collect some of that money that was past due and put it in the homes of the families, and then give the non-custodial parents an opportunity for them to get their licenses back.
The program ends September 30th. Mall walkers no longer welcome at a nearly empty complex in Baton Rouge. Cortana Mall officials have posted signs saying they're banning mall walkers for liability reasons. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
On 7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for traffic. Wednesday morning stuff. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Uri Drive and Southfield Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Old Minden Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high, 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
On 7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. That KEEL amp is always a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Attorney Royal, you okay there, buddy?
I am.
Wow, heard a little hack there. I thought it was either you or Erin.
That wasn't me today.
Attorney Royal Alexander here for a couple of minutes. Hey, how you been, man? Haven't seen you in a while.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
You were on September 11th, 2001. On September 11th, 2001, you were in Washington, D.C. What were you there for? What was going on? What took you to the capital city?
I was there with the late former Congressman Clyde Holloway, and we were in a campaign for Congress in central Louisiana, and we were in D.C. that day to try to raise funds and to try to build support for the campaign.
So you guys, you're having meetings, you're talking with folks, and all of a sudden, maybe about 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, I don't know, maybe you were at breakfast at the Waffle House. The point being, I would imagine at some point rumors begin to circulate, right? What were people like buzzing about at that point?
You know, it was even closer than that, Robert. I was probably, it was less than a mile, several hundred yards from the Pentagon. I was at a hotel in Crystal City, Virginia, which is just over the river from D.C., and as I say, just a matter of a few hundred yards, and when the plane hit that part of the Pentagon, and I remember hearing a roar. I remember seeing black smoke begin to billow. I remember seeing tons of employees of the Pentagon, I later learned, in really a mass exodus from the building and into Crystal City. It really was almost biblical looking.
And at the time of the Pentagon attack, the Pentagon crash, were you aware at that point of what was occurring virtually simultaneously, a little earlier actually, in New York City at the World Trade Center?
I was not. All of that didn't become clear till much later in the day. It's still kind of difficult to describe it fully. Once that happened, the whole city went on lockdown. All I remember seeing was really black helicopters in different parts of the city, high in the sky. I could see fighter planes circling slowly. All that was moving in D.C. that I remember was black Suburbans with men holding serious-looking weaponry out of the window, and the city. And I've thought about this before, Robert. It's almost like we probably have to go back to revolutionary times, to the times of the Founding Fathers, for there to be a period in Washington, D.C. that was so still, so unmoving.
When in the moments after the crash, you're in your hotel room, how long until you kind of got a sense of what actually had happened? And B, what was your instinct to leave the hotel, to stay in the hotel, to get under the bed, to turn on the TV? And were hotel people saying, you guys need to stay? What exactly happened at the hotel itself?
And keep in mind, in those days, our mentality was not what it is today, that our first thought was that it possibly could be a terrorist attack. This was the innocence of America at the time, because we had never experienced something like that. So at that moment, I walked out to the parking lot and began to look. I mean, I knew the Pentagon was there. I began to look over and see that part of the building smoking, and I couldn't fathom. I didn't think of a plane, and no one had begun to say anything just yet. People just kind of were stunned around me, and as I say, in the next hour, half an hour or so, people, there's probably 30,000 employees at the Pentagon, and just several thousand, it must have been, were just streaming into Crystal City to get away from the building. They were fleeing. And no, Robert, I can't say I had a sense of, I mean, obviously there had been some kind of an explosion. I thought explosion. I didn't, I hadn't seen the plane hit the building. I just had heard a roar. And so I can't say that I knew, to answer your question, what it was, because I didn't.
We didn't have all this immediate, it's going to pop up on your phone stuff. So when did you know our world had changed?
Erin, it was probably within a couple of hours, within 2 hours, I would say.
Wow.
I'd heard about New York City and the plane that went down in Pennsylvania, and then I began to realize, well, we have been attacked, and our minds had never gone there, and I just remember thinking, this is I just didn't know how to comprehend it. I remember thinking, and then later my mother calls, and then at some point there was no way for calls to get there because they were calls were so flooded. I couldn't talk to anyone, but I did talk to my mother, who told me the president's plane had landed, of course, at Barksdale, and it kind of was incomprehensible.
What happened with you after? Because you couldn't go anywhere. There's no getting on a plane that day.
What did you do all day?
That's exactly right. I stayed in the area. Eventually, Clyde Holloway came back to the hotel, and we were just kind of stranded. And I remember, we found a place to eat in Crystal City, and we just kind of were like, can you believe that this happened to the country today? And we were following what President Bush was saying on the news, and no, we couldn't leave. All commercial flights were closed down. We learned later that any flight that had come in unannounced to D.C. would have been shot down. We learned later, of course, under the Vice President's order, Vice President Cheney. You just are kind of stunned. I mean, you had trouble putting it into any sort of context in your life because America had never experienced something like this, and to just see, and that building, I mean, they estimated later that plane was accelerating, full of gas. We learned later those jets were full of gas, and this one was accelerating as it went into the Pentagon, as it smashed into the Pentagon, and so it burned for days. And to just look at it, it looked like something out of Dante's Inferno. One of the 9 circles of hell. Just to the black smoke, the burning, in the big gaping hole in the side of the building. It's still kind of hard to describe that day.
Can you believe it's been 18 years?
No, because when I go, time flies. That's what that tells me, and I hope we never forget what happened that day, because those over 3,000 people are depending on us to remember and be strong and be patriotic and to love our country. But no, Erin, it's hard to believe. It's just that time flies. But when I go back to it in my mind, it still grips me. I mean, I still remember how I felt that day.
We all do. We sure do. And we pray for those who were lost and pray for the heroes. That's for sure. Royal Alexander, thanks for your time, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL Sports Ahead. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at a minor accident on Wilkinson Street near Line Avenue, and we have some traffic delays at the intersection at Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL Sports Update. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Joe Burrow picked up the Maxwell Awards Offensive Player of the Week for his outstanding performance last Saturday against Texas. Burrow has won the SEC Offensive Player of the Week back-to-back weeks as well and has gone from a 300-1 long shot to win the Heisman to among the favorites at 5-1. LSU welcomes Ed Orgeron's alma mater, Northwestern State, this Saturday night. The Tigers will don purple jerseys accompanied by white helmets in their matchup with the Demons. The Raiders knocked off the Texans 21-7 last night. Wait a second. It was actually the A's who beat the Astros 21-7 last night. One day after Houston waxed Oakland 15-0, the A's returned the favor with a blowout win. Oakland hit 6 homers and collected 25 hits. That's their most in a 9-inning game since June of 1969, when they also had 25 hits in a 21-7 win over Boston. George Springer and Martin Maldonado each homered twice for the Stros. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Weather brought to you by Arc.
So, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty.
What was that Miss Doubtfire about?
So, you ran into my brother last night.
Yes, I did.
He works at El Dorado.
Mhm.
And you ran into him last evening. You stopped by just to play a couple of hands. I don't know.
It's a tournament on Tuesdays.
But he told you a little story.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
About a little evening out y'all had?
Here's the deal, and I have requested. See, because we live in such a video and social media age, and the show is not only video. It's you can watch us. You can watch the show on Facebook or on the Keel YouTube channel.
Yes.
The point being, a lot more people now. In the old days of radio, they just knew what you sounded like. Nobody knew what you looked like.
Right.
And now in this age of this digital age, everybody. Everybody knows what I look like.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, people come up and say hello all the time, which is awesome. And I appreciate the pats on the back.
Oh, it happened to me in Bossier.
Except when you mention McCarty and her stupid award. And I've mentioned this a couple of times, and I've said, look, I'm very happy for Erin. And when people would come up and they would say, hi, Robert, I listen every morning, love the show, thank you. And it really does, in fact, as I say to people, make my day.
Mm-hmm.
But and then people would say, oh, sort of as a caveat, an addendum
right.
to their conversation, to our conversation, and they would say, oh, and tell Erin congratulations on the award, meaning her Gracie Award. And if you don't know, and there's people who probably still don't, Erin about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, got a Gracie Award, Alliance. It's a national organization, Alliance for Women in Media, America's top female talk show host, co-host. I'm not making this up now. America's top female talk show host, co-host format, non-syndicated media market.
Right.
And the first 1,000 times that people ended their conversations with me with, oh, and congratulate Erin, I thought that was nice. The last 1,000 times, And to quote the great Steve Prater,
Yeah.
that's enough to piss a feller off.
Mm-hmm.
So
your brother tells me last night y'all were recently at Outback.
Yeah.
And someone approached you and,
Yeah.
and said, be sure to tell Erin congratulations
Yeah,
about
I did.
the Gracie.
Yeah, I may have overreacted.
And then asked, was Gracie Allen there?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
May she rest in peace.
Yeah, I don't like. Look, I honestly, at this point, I just don't want to talk about it.
I understand.
Okay,
I understand.
I'm over your greatness.
We're gonna get you a wig, and then next we'll get you a Gracie.
Your.
Well, we'll have to get you some of these first.
Erin has in the studio. We now call it the Shelf of Fame, and it's every award you've gotten. And on the top, there's about 3 or 4 on every. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there's a
I'm
bunch
counting
of
them right
stuff.
now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. And then there's a big one folded up in the corner because it was too big to put on the shelf. And then a sign that somebody custom made for you on top.
Yeah.
And I was really happy for you the first 1,000 times. People said, congratulations. At this point, and I'll say it again, if it occurs to you, if you see me out, you want to say hello, please do. I enjoy that immensely. But if at the end of the conversation it occurs to you to say, and tell Erin congratulations, button your lip. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, local news just ahead from award-winning Erin McCarty.
Oh, boy.
Boy. Traffic time, here's Ruben.
The intersection at Uri Drive and Southfield Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Oldman Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig at the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
A full audit of the city's financial condition for 2018 is now final, and it shows bad news in the city's finance department. One council member tells KEEL News the report is horrible. Another says the findings are troubling. Mayor Perkins now speaks out about a Shreveport police officer accused of kicking a suspect in the head. The video, which has gone viral, shows Corporal Dylan Hudson kicking the suspect in the head while making an arrest back in August. 32-year-old Markeel Tyson was on the ground being detained when he was kicked.
It's interesting when these things make national news and they pop up because we're in an investigative process that we can't talk, or it could taint the process, and there won't be justice at the end of it. So just because we're silent, know that we are working on this.
Charges against Tyson were dropped. The mayor says the officer is on unpaid leave pending a full investigation. He says this kind of action will not be tolerated. The words Christ back on a football field in our area at a high school. We get details on that from Reuben Wright.
1 year ago, there was quite a controversy over a logo on the Benton High School football field that featured the word Christ. Students at Benton High School were told to cover up the word on the logo for Christ Fit Gym after the ACLU objected to the business name being on the field for all to see. After a brief legal fight, the logo was put back on the field. Now the logo is back on the field for the season. So far, no legal battle this year. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Reuben Wright.
Mayor Perkins expected to make his choice for police chief by September 24th when he'll present the candidate to the full city council. The Citizens Advisory Committee meets Friday to begin examining the 7 candidates for the job. They'll recommend a list of 3 finalists to the mayor. A Houghton man locked up accused of having inappropriate sexual relations with teenagers over the past few years. 45-year-old Saunders King Jr. faces a list of charges. We pause today to remember September 11th, 2001, when terrorists attacked our country, leaving nearly 3,000 people dead. Several big events are planned in our community today. State Fire Marshal Butch Browning commemorating the anniversary, seeking donations to construct a museum to house the Spirit of Louisiana fire truck. He hopes the same spirit of giving will happen in funding this project, as the truck has a history of not only serving the people of New York, but also the people of New Orleans.
The Spirit actually worked for many years in New Orleans while they rebuilt their fleet of trucks that were damaged in Hurricane Katrina. We did send it back to a stint in Long Island, New York after Superstorm Sandy.
The museum will be built next to a 9/11 memorial at the Fire Marshal's office in Baton Rouge. Church leaders in California have been arrested, accused of holding homeless people in locked group homes and forcing them to panhandle for up to 9 hours a day. And a top female swimmer in Alaska disqualified from a race she'd already won when a referee ruled her bathing suit was immodest and showed off too much of her derriere. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
On 7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. I just don't know why anybody would want to look at it. I'm not going to tell. No, I'm serious. I'm not going to tell people to go to the website and look at that vid. It's no.
It's troubling, Robert.
Well, that's not the
troubling.
point. Okay, it's troubling. Look, my scoring factor is 0. I don't, I mean, there's people who love to a markedly lesser degree, but it's not the worst analogy. There's people who love watching the opening rounds of American Idol. Man, those people suck. There's no joy in watching people's dreams be destroyed for me.
No.
Look, if they're...
But we need to weed out anyone that is breaking the public's trust.
Not arguing with that.
And this is a police officer who is kicking a suspect in the head when the suspect is on the ground. It's video that KTBS obtained. I want to thank them for letting us use it. And you can find it on the KEEL website.
Give me the background, the story.
Well, the story is that this was an August 5th arrest. And the gentleman that was being arrested, the suspect, was being arrested on several different charges. He's identified as 32-year-old Markeel Tyson. He was being detained. There are 2 other officers there. He's on the ground. And then you see on the video, Officer Corporal Dylan Hudson, he is seen kicking Tyson in what looks to be his head. While the man is on the ground, Robert, and I say that because I don't know what the suspect said. I don't know what he did, and I know there's police officers that are going, you don't know the whole story, and I get that. But to me, this was crossing the line, and I'm going to tell you today, 99.9% of our officers are spectacular and go above and beyond the call of duty every day. But when you have one that makes them all stand out as evil and bad guys, they all must come forward. They must not say, you don't know what really. They must all say, this is not the kind of police officer we want or do we need. And this officer, though it was reported he was on paid leave, the mayor has come out now and said, no, he's on unpaid leave. And I'll read you a quote from the mayor that he said to the city council yesterday. Just because we're silent, know that we are working on this. Often we can't talk, or it could taint the process, and there won't be justice at the end of it. Every time we get an incident like this, again, it is unacceptable and deplorable. It eats away at the public trust that we need. It goes on, the mayor goes on, but I'll let you go read it at keelnews.com. Again, I love officers. They do a great job. But when they know, deep in their heart, this should not have happened like it happened, they need to say it. They need to say, man, you went too far.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update now. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at a minor accident on Wilkinson Street near Line Avenue. And we have some traffic delays at the intersection at Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high, 98. Richard DeWettig at the Weather Channel.
Yeah, hockey starts Friday night. George's Pond, Hirsch Coliseum.
Wow.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. So we're going to have General Manager Scott Musket in which day?
Friday morning, 7:10.
Friday morning, 7:10.
Yeah, that's the day before he kills you.
Mudbug's home. Yeah, they got a football thing. He's got to catch me. And you know what? That guy's hit a lot of boards, and he's hit a lot of people.
Oh, you don't think he could catch you?
I don't know. You know, he's a man of extremely strong will.
Yeah.
If he sort of had it in his mind to track me down,
He could?
I think he could.
Yeah.
I need to tell him about my dream, too.
Oh, definitely.
I had a dream over the weekend. It was Sunday night, and I told this on Monday morning. I dreamed I was trying out for the Mudbugs. I can't skate. and so literally they would be out practicing, and I would be sitting on the bench with my skates on.
You don't know how to skate.
I can't skate.
No.
Encouraging the guys out on the ice. And so they're making the cuts and they're keeping me around, and they're making the cuts and they're keeping me around. And there's all these like 19, 20, 21-year-old guys whose dreams are being shattered, and they're keeping me. And finally they make the final cut in the dream. They make the final cut and they keep me. And I can't skate. And
boy.
like I'm getting a lot of really negative blowback from a lot of the players because as I mentioned, I can't skate. And so I go into Muskie's office, and he and Soupy Campbell, the coach, are in there, and I say, fellas, I'm really honored you decided to keep me on the team, but did either of you notice that I can't skate? And they said, yes. And I thought, well, now I know how you got your job. And they said, yes, we noticed, but you're like the heart and soul of the team. Every team needs a heartbeat, to quote Coach O, one heartbeat.
Yeah.
And we want you to be that guy, the encourager, the go-to, the sort of the mentor to all the players. And I said, but I can't skate.
Right.
And they said, we understand that, but we want, and they went through the whole heart and soul thing again. And then I explained to them how all the guys in the locker room hated me because I couldn't skate. And B, that I felt bad that I was robbing young men of their dreams.
You took a spot.
That I was taking away the future of a young man who wanted to make hockey his life. And to close it all out, I said, I can't skate.
Right.
And so they got up and they hugged me, and they told me it was the bravest thing they'd ever seen. And I said, look, I'll just go back to being the PA guy. And they said, well, no, we've already replaced you.
Oh, yeah. You're out,
and
yeah.
I said,
Oh,
then
Lord.
I woke up. Yesterday you alluded to, and we're going to talk
boy.
for, yeah.
I'm not giving you names again.
Yeah, you didn't give me names yesterday.
I'm not doing it today either.
Yesterday you alluded to a potential standstill with the Caddo Commission in their attempt to, it's their job to hire a new registrar of voters.
Right.
And they announced a few days ago that on Saturday, I think it's September 21st, they're going to interview all 20 or so of the candidates in one long marathon day. Interview them alphabetically, give them each one about 15 minutes. And I said at the time, I said, first of all, if I'm at the end of that line, that would be a bad place to be.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be worn out. They're going to be crabby, going to be irritable.
Well, one's dropped out, so there's only 19 left.
And so you heard from a couple of local political insiders.
Yeah, let's leave it at that.
You heard from a couple of local political insiders who made the point that, and you correct me if I'm wrong, okay? They're having the interviews on Saturday the 21st.
Right.
All of the candidates. But here's what 2 people, quote, in the know told you. Let me phrase it this way, and then you expound. They told you that the 6 Democrats on the Caddo Commission have already decided on a candidate before the interviews.
Yes.
Now, you also said that this is sort of being orchestrated by some sort of local elected political Svengali, which I don't believe. I just think there's too much conflict. There's too much history between this maneuverer of people, this chess master, the Blofeld of Caddo Parish politics.
Yes.
I just think there's too much history between him and a lot of people, not only on the commission, but also who are hoping to be the registrar of voters.
Right.
But I got to tell you, I'm hearing from folks, too, that the 6 Dems on the commission have already decided on a guy. And that they're willing to, well, you take it. You tell me now.
Well, there are some local African-American leaders who are trying to get the 6 Democratic members of the Caddo Commission to hold firm on one candidate. And they want them to hold firm, not deviate, not stray. All 6 of them vote for the same person so that that person will get the job. They need 7 votes. You have to have a majority.
12 members on the commission.
My question is, what if one person gets 4 votes, one person gets 2, and one gets 6? Do you get the job?
I would.
I'm a little concerned that could happen.
Or do then the negotiations begin?
Yeah. Do you need to get a majority and say, hey, let's vote on the top 2 only and see how it goes? The Democrats are being told to hold out and make one of the Republicans cross over and vote for our guy.
Based on your theory, if there's 20 people, somebody could get the job with like 2 votes and everybody else gets 1. So I would imagine, I'm assuming, I don't think it's a great leap to say you probably got to get a majority.
You probably need a majority. And the problem is that the candidate that the Democrats are behind.
Supposedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Now some dirt is starting to be, because I'm getting emails and texts about that person, and I know you've gotten 1 or 2 yourself, of lawsuits filed against him, etc. So you've got both sides now politically maneuvering over a job that should be non-freaking political.
Yeah, I made that point yesterday, isn't it? And I use this term again. Isn't it interesting that the registrar of voters position is coming down to who's on a decision made by people holding firm to their political party.
It's unbelievable.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Your money now, just a couple of seconds away. In the meantime, time for traffic. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Uri Drive and Southfield Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Oldmenden Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
750, here's your money now. One oh one 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Joe Burrow picked up the Maxwell Awards Offensive Player of the Week for his outstanding performance last Saturday against Texas. Burrow has won the SEC Offensive Player of the Week back-to-back weeks as well and has gone from a 300-1 long shot to win the Heisman to among the favorites at 5-1. LSU welcomes Ed Orgeron's alma mater, Northwestern State, this Saturday night. The Tigers will don purple jerseys accompanied by white helmets in their matchup with the Demons. The Raiders knocked off the Texans 21-7 last night. Wait a second. It was actually the A's who beat the Astros 21-7 last night. One day after Houston waxed Oakland 15-0, the A's returned the favor with a blowout win. Oakland hit 6 homers and collected 25 hits. That's their most in a 9-inning game since June of 1969, when they also had 25 hits in a 21-7 win over Boston. George Springer and Martin Maldonado each homered twice for the Stros. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.107 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. City Councilman Grayson Butcher in a little less than an hour. What's that about?
He's going to talk to us about the audit that I'm awaiting its arrival from the legislative auditor's office. They have not quite posted it yet. It should be today, but I'll get a synopsis.
Have you heard anything?
I've heard the words horrible.
Wait. Hang on a second. I can say something's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
The
I've
kid
heard
up
the
the
words
corner,
very concerning.
the cashier up at Murphy USA can say concerning. From whom are you hearing these?
City leaders say that the audit points out problems in the city's finance department.
When you say city leaders, I'm leaning on you here. Do
council members? I would bet the mayor is not happy with this audit. I mean, the audit's done prior to him taking office. So I'm going to actually send an email to his office and get a response from him because it's not good. And I would like to know what's the plan from this point forward because you got to fix these problems.
If I stretch things out for about 20 seconds, can you pull up any of those texts directly that you've received, and can you read them to us because we've got about 45 seconds until
let me see.
Until the Hannity thing.
Okay. The audit is, quote, horrible. That's all. That's the only part of this I'm going to be able to read to you. You should be getting, I'll be getting parts of it, the synopsis of it.
But they
today.
didn't give you any inclination into what they found,
well,
or where the shortcomings were.
It's in the finance department. That's where the problems are, is what I'm told. But again, I'm the kind of person that will spend the time reading it. I don't have a life, I guess, so I read this nonsense from cover to cover. And if it's more than the finance department, I will pull it out.
Grayson Butcher, City Councilman, on this very topic in just about 50 minutes or so. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Sean Hannity.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
You know, we got Kamala Harris. I mean, she's literally agreeing with the Salon editor on police officers. Quote, they just harass and take up space in poor communities. Wow. saying that the person, Salon's editor-at-large, was, quote, right about police officers after he made that claim. And they released a 31-minute campaign video Monday that included Harris speaking with black leaders about the U.S. criminal justice system. Oh, let me see. Who's the guy that just reformed the criminal justice system? Who is the guy that released Alice Marie Johnson? Who's the one that got rid of disparate sentencing, powder versus crack cocaine, and is pushing towards other reforms in this area? Who's pushing those ideas? That would be Donald Trump.
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Imagine I only gave you part of a news story. Well, it'd be pretty hard to follow. Well, that's what it's like relying on monitoring of your credit and your bank statements to help protect your family and your identity. Now, you could miss part of the story. Now, sure, bank and credit card companies, they can help deflect fraud, but they may not monitor the multitude of ways that these cyber thieves can steal your identity. That's why there's LifeLock, and LifeLock.com uses proprietary technology. They will alert you to a wide range of identity threats. If you have a problem, they have a U.S.-based team of specialists that will work to fix it for you. No one company can prevent all identity theft or monitor every transaction of every business, but LifeLock sees the threats you'll miss on your own. Right now, go to LifeLock.com or call 1-800-LifeLock. Use the promo code Hannity. Get an extra 10% off LifeLock.com or 1-800-LifeLock promo code Hannity to save an extra 10%. Protect your name, your identity, and your reputation and finances.
The intersection at Uri Drive and Southfield Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Old Minden Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig of the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport. The KEEL Morning Show with Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. Just past 8 o'clock. It's Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Erin, local news getting ready now.
The mayor speaks out about a police officer accused of kicking a suspect. We'll talk more about that. We pause today to remember September 11th. That's coming up too. And a new audit from the city's financial picture is horrible, according to one council member.
Speaking of 9/11, I read an excerpt of a new book last night. It's called The Only Plane in the Sky. And there's a couple of excerpts I'm going to pass along, and they are absolutely chilling, amazing, unbelievable.
And we're going to play the call from Todd Beamer to 911.
Yeah. Cattle Commissioner. Yeah, Cattle Commissioner Lewis Johnson at about 8:20, and City Councilman Grayson Butcher at about 8:40.
You bet.
Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
And 710 KEEL.
We pause today to remember September 11th, 2001, when terrorists attacked our country, leaving nearly 3,000 dead. Several big events are planned in our community today to remember the lives lost and the heroes. State Fire Marshal Butch Browning is commemorating the anniversary by seeking donations to construct a museum to house the Spirit of Louisiana fire truck that was built by donations and sent to New York following the attacks.
We set out to raise money shortly after the attacks in September to build this fire truck. I think our goal was about $250,000. The reality is we actually raised $1.1 million.
You can see the full list of events on our website, keelnews.com. Mayor Adrian Perkins now speaking out about a Shreveport police officer accused of kicking a suspect in the head. Video shows Corporal Dylan Hudson kicking the suspect in the head while making an arrest back on August 5th.
What I've committed to is community-oriented policing, and every time we get an instance like that again is unacceptable and deplorable, it eats away at the public trust that we need in order to implement that program.
Perkins says the officer is on unpaid leave pending a full investigation, and this kind of action will not be tolerated. It won't be long before Shreveport has a new police chief. Reuben Wright with that.
Mayor Adrian Perkins is expected to make his choice for police chief by September 24th, when he will present that candidate to the full city council. The Citizens Advisory Committee meets Friday to begin examining the 7 candidates for the job. They will recommend a list of 3 finalists to the mayor. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
A full audit of the city's financial condition for 2018 is now final, and it shows bad news in the finance department. One councilman says the report is horrible. Another says the findings are troubling. City Council moving forward with a traffic light at Wallace Lake and Southern Loop. The Parish Commission will help fund that light. 1 year ago, there was quite a controversy over a logo on the Benton High School football field that featured the word Christ. Students at Benton High were told to cover up the word on the logo for the Christ Fit Gym after the ACLU objected to the business name being on the field for all to see. There was a legal fight. The logo was put back. Now the logo is back on the field this year. So far, no legal skirmish at this point. A Houghton man locked up accused of having inappropriate sexual relations with children over the past few years. 45-year-old Saunders King Jr. faces several charges. Bill Davis with the Bossier Sheriff's Office says King was suspected in a similar case involving a preteen back in 2016, but was ultimately not arrested. He says that all changed recently.
Another juvenile came to us here in August who was solicited by King via social media, and that then shed light to the other crime, which we were able to tie them together.
Davis says the case is an important reminder for parents to keep a close eye on their children's digital conversations. Parents who've lost their driver's license due to falling behind on child support only have 3 weeks left to correct the issue as part of the On the Road Again project. DCFS Children for Support Sandra Broussard says the goal of the program is clear.
To collect some of that money that was past due and put it in the homes of the families, and then give the non-custodial parents an opportunity for them to get their licenses back.
The program ends September 30th. Mall walkers no longer welcome at a nearly empty complex in Baton Rouge. Cortana Mall officials have posted signs saying they're banning mall walkers for liability reasons. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Finding
.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for sports. Time for traffic. Here's Ruben.
A major accident on I-20 westbound has things backed up from Spring and Market to Airline Drive right now. And we have another minor accident on East Berkcoons Industrial Loop near Professional Drive. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard Duettig at the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. That KEEL app is always a free download from Office Furniture Source. On September 11th, 2001, I was off work. Do you remember? I was on vacation. We were still doing the morning show on 94.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I was off work, and there were some guys from B&J Flooring, and they were getting ready to tear up the old floor in my living and dining room and put down a new floor.
Yep. And you're getting ready to get a new floor now, too.
No irony there,
No
right?
kidding.
And the point being that I had the TV on, I had made coffee, I was off that week, and I was home specifically so I could let them in and sort of give them flooring pointers.
Mm-hmm.
And me, Mr. Home repair guy, and the TV's on, and everybody's first thought was that it was because the mindset was so different.
It's a plane crash, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
That's horrible.
And then when they everybody sort of figured out what was going on, I recall me and these two guys from B&J Flooring standing there just transfixed at the horror on the screen.
Right.
There's an excerpt from a book I'm going to read to you here in a couple of seconds. And the headline of the story is New 9/11 Account Recalls Harrowing Moments Before Flight 93 Crash.
This is the one that crashed in Pennsylvania.
This is the one where the people on board, knowing because they had their cell phones, they were talking with friends and family or phone operators, and we'll talk more about that in a second.
Whew.
They knew what had happened in New York City.
And they were trying to take back the plane.
They knew what had happened at the Pentagon in Washington. And they knew what was going to happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew if the only hope the pilots were already dead.
Yeah.
And they knew they didn't have a chance.
Right.
They knew they chose to do the amazingly heroic thing.
Mm-hmm. To die rather than let that plane fly back to the White House or the Capitol and crash.
They made, this is in quotes, they made the decision we didn't have to make. Those are the words of Lieutenant Colonel Mark Sasseville as he recalls 18 years later in a new account of the September 11th attacks from the perspective of decision makers in Washington. Survivors, military service members, and members of families of those on board United Flight 93, which was hijacked before passengers fought back and brought the plane down. Sasseville, an F-16 Air Force pilot who, along with Lieutenant Heather Penny, was tasked with stopping Flight 93 by any means necessary from being weaponized like the jets at the World Trade Center and Pentagon earlier that morning, praised the brave passengers for doing exactly that, sacrificing themselves to foil the terrorists. Now,
what were those Air Force pilots going to do? Shoot it down?
Because they had no missiles. Any operation to take out Flight 93 would have put their lives on the line also. What a conservative way of phrasing this.
Are they going to crash into it?
We would have to have rammed the aircraft. We didn't have missiles on board to shoot the plane down, Lieutenant Penny recalls. As we were putting on our flight gear in the life support shop, Colonel Sasseville, Sass looked at me and said, "I'll ram the cockpit." I then made the decision that I would take off the tail. This would be a last resort if they could not otherwise divert the craft. At the time, Sasseville said, quote, "I was going into this moral and ethical justification of the needs of the many versus the needs of the few. They knew it was a suicide mission, but they were ready to do it if needed. I generally believed that this was going to be the last time I took off," Penny said. And if we did it right, it would have been. Now, aboard that plane
was Todd Beamer, who was the man who kind of led the charge to take over the plane or attempt it. And this is the woman who took his call.
It's a Verizon, like a Verizon 911 operator.
Mm-hmm.
And to give you a little more detail, I know we're running long and I apologize, but he told her not to connect him with his wife.
Right.
Because he didn't want to scare or worry her. He said if something happens, well, you'll hear it, pardon me, you'll hear it in this conversation.
There was a soft-spoken, calm gentleman on the other end. He told me that there's 3 people that have taken over the flight. At that point, I asked him his name. He told me Todd Beamer. He was from Cranberry, New Jersey.
Did you make a conscious decision not to tell Todd about the World Trade Center? Why?
Yes, because I wanted him to have hope. I wanted him to think that he still had a chance. I didn't want him to feel like it was just totally hopeless, and he definitely didn't have a choice, and he knew he was going to die. I didn't want him to have that feeling.
When he wanted to pray, was your sense then that he knew that?
Yes, I did. I felt that he knew at that time, because he had said, "Oh, Jesus, help us." And then he said, "Lisa, would you recite the Lord's Prayer with me?" And I knew that he knew at that time that it wasn't much left for him to do.
What do you think that this country needs to know about the men and women who were on board Flight 93?
They're all heroes in my eyes. They really are. They all pitched together, and they did what they thought was the best thing to do at that time. And I feel that Todd played a great role in that, because when he told the guys, "Are you ready?" I assumed that they were waiting on his cue. Then they responded to him, and he said, "Okay, let's roll."
And would you please help me welcome his wife, Lisa Beamer, here tonight.
She called me that Saturday morning. I told her, I said, "You have 2 boys, David and Andrew?" She said, "Yes, yes, I do." I said, "You're expecting your 3rd child?" She said, "Yes. He told you all of that." I said, "Yes, he did. And he wanted me to let you know that he loved you and his family very much." And I gave her a message and kept my promise.
The name of the book, by the way, that we were, because a couple of folks had asked, the name of the book is The Only Plane in the Sky, An Oral History of 9/11. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Cattle Commissioner Lewis Johnson just a couple of seconds away. Traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic at the intersection at Line Avenue and Kings Highway, and a major accident on I-20 westbound has things backed up from Spring and Market to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. Lewis Johnson, Caddo Commissioner. Hey, Mr. Lewis, welcome back to Keel. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing real good, Robert. How are you this morning?
You guys are big decision to make coming up soon. You are entrusted with selecting a new registrar of voters. I know Erin's heard a lot of stuff. I know she sort of talked with you before before this conversation. She'll get to that in a couple of seconds. Going into this, what kind of conversations are you having with other commissioners? What are you thinking? What kind of conversations are you allowed to have with other commissioners about this process?
I appreciate that question. I think that primarily the conversation that I've had for the most part is simply awaiting the information as relates to the various candidates. Of course, we've had opportunities to speak to several of the candidates by phone or email or visits otherwise. But I think for the most part, we've just simply talked about who we know as best we can and have examined the resumes and kind of moving forward from there.
Lewis, I'm sorry I call you Lewis.
That's okay. That's who I am.
We go back a little ways.
That's right.
There's the talk that the 6 Democrats are going to hold out for one particular candidate and that you're not going to budge and that the deal is in, the fix is in. And then I've had other people tell me that they're hearing that Lewis Johnson is not going to be a part of that. He won't play a role in that he's going to vote for the best candidate. So let me ask you, is that what you're going to do? And if yes, what are you looking for in the candidate?
My goodness. I don't know if I fully understand or agree with that question the way that you phrased it.
Okay.
So let me address that if you would.
Fix my question for me.
No, I'm going to stick to your question.
No, fix it.
Fix it. Thank you very much.
Please.
Thank you. And the reason I say that is that you're speaking specifically about the black candidates, and that's fine. Okay. And every candidate, every commissioner has both a right and a responsibility to vote. We'll agree on that.
You bet.
Now, with that being the case, I am no different from not only any of the other black candidates, I'm no different from any of the other white candidates. So to suggest that I am going to not vote with anyone else and vote for who I think is the best candidate, that would be accurate. But I also feel strongly, and I'm convinced that every other member is voting for who they think is the best candidate. So with that question as it is, it appears that because it's been said, or I guess it's been said, that some of the black candidates have gotten together, that they are not voting for the best candidate. And I disagree with that. So to answer your question, yes, I am going to look at the resumes, which is what I am doing and have done. And I think the other commissioners are doing the same, both black and white. And I'm going to make a vote based on who I think is the best. But I think that every other candidate, including the black commissioners, are going to vote for who they think is the best candidate. So I'm not any different in that respect.
Have you heard that rumor, though, that the Democratic commissioners were going to hold out? I mean, I've gotten it from 2 pretty reliable folks who said the Democrats were going to form a bond and not budge on their vote. Have you heard the rumor?
I appreciate the question. In the position that I am in, I make it a practice, and it's served me pretty well to recognize and to view rumors as just that. But to answer your question specifically, I have heard that rumor and others. I heard that my fellow commissioners, as relates to the Republican commissioners, have met and made a decision to do the same. I do not hold that to be so because I do not know that to be so.
Gotcha.
But, of course, I know that it's been said that the black commissioners have met prior. I'm very well aware of that. So, yes, I am aware of that, and I have heard the rumor of that, and on the other side, and a number of other rumors as well.
Mr. Lewis, on the other hand, setting all of these rumors aside, at some point, coalitions are in fact going to have to be formed, deals, and I don't mean that in a nasty or political way. Deals are going to have to be made. Guys are going to have to get together for a candidate to get the required, I think it's 7 votes, right? So
Yes, as I appreciate it is 7, Robert.
going into this, how close do you think you might be? I mean, this is almost like picking a presidential candidate at a convention that doesn't have a clear-cut majority. You could have, there's 12 of you guys. It could be 12 different votes. How long do you
Absolutely.
anticipate it's going to take to put a deal together to settle on one guy or one?
I really appreciate that question, and that's not nasty at all. And it's really not political. It's just the way that the rules identify the process. So that's not a bad thing. And I really don't know, but I don't really think that. I don't see there being 1 for this guy and 2 for that guy or that type of thing. So as it relates to coalition, I don't know, but it sounds like that's viewed as a negative thing, but I don't view it as necessarily negative. And the reason I do not is that throughout my time on the commission, it is not, as you can appreciate, it's not uncommon for people, be it myself and whomever, or be it John and Stormy or whomever, people who have interests, it's not uncommon to communicate those interests prior in order to get a pretty much a consensus as to where different people are. So I don't know what it would take, and of course I can see how it could take several rounds in order to identify a candidate that we're going to go with. And the reason I can see that is because after looking at the resumes, I tell you, we have a group of really quality and qualified candidates. So it will not be an easy task in that respect. But I think that there are obviously some who have a lean one way or another. So I don't see it being a very long process, but it potentially could be.
Louis, pretend like I'm let's say, state senator, and I call you up, and I say, Louis, we're friends, we go back a long way. I really need you to support this guy for registrar of voters. A, is that appropriate? B, what do you tell that elected official? And let's pretend it's any elected official. What do you say to him?
And I would imagine that's happened to almost all of you guys at this point, right?
Yes, I would say now whether or not it's appropriate, I don't know if I could really answer that. I think there are some who would say, well, that's not appropriate, and I respect that. But anyone who is going to be absolutely honest and transparent, whether it's in the political realm, professional or personal, if I have a relationship or if I have a friend, if I need some tickets to the Captain Street game, I might call and say, hey, man, you guys got any tickets to the game? Which is simply what people with relationships do. But if a senator or anyone calls me and they are asking me to vote a particular way simply based on their relationship with a candidate, be it appropriate or inappropriate, I am not, and I will not make a vote based on that. But nor do I find it to be a negative thing, because I've done this long enough, as have you, to know that those things do happen. But because of the responsibility and the confidence that the people who elected me have in me, they expect me to use a greater criteria than that to decide who I vote on and to whom I give my vote. So I would not do that, but that does happen. It has happened at one point or another, on one vote or another, and I understand that, but I am not inclined to do that, and I can stand and say that I have not done it, and I will not do it.
Caddo Commissioner Louis Johnson, thanks for your being so open with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for calling me. Y'all have a great day.
You bet.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, traffic time. Ruben's here.
A major accident on I-20 westbound has things backed up from Spring and Market to Airline Drive right now. And we have another minor accident on East Berkcoons Industrial Loop near Professional Drive. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
of information. KEEL News now.
We know more about a police officer accused of kicking a suspect. Reuben Wright has the latest.
Mayor Perkins now speaks out about a Shreveport police officer accused of kicking a suspect in the head. Video shows Corporal Dylan Hudson kicking a suspect in the head while making an arrest on August 5th. 32-year-old Markeel Tyson was on the ground being detained when he was kicked. Charges against Tyson were dropped. Perkins says the officer is on unpaid leave pending a full investigation. Councilman Willie Bradford says that kind of action should not be tolerated. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
A full audit of the city's financial condition for 2018 now final, and it shows bad news in the city's finance department. One councilman says the report is horrible. Another says the findings are troubling. A Houghton man is locked up accused of having inappropriate sexual relations with preteen and teenage juveniles over the past few years. 45-year-old Saunders King Jr. faces a list of charges. We pause today to remember September 11, 2001, when terrorists attacked our country, leaving nearly 3,000 dead. Several big events are planned in our community today to remember the lives lost and the heroes. Mayor Perkins has this message for residents.
Keep those families in your prayers that lost loved ones on that day, and those families that are continually losing loved ones in the wars that we're fighting. Don't forget them.
There's an event this morning on the Shreveport Riverfront, another event planned at the Liberty Garden in Bossier City, many other events as well. You can see the full list on our website, keelnews.com. Another convicted killer put to death in Texas. We get more on that from Jack Callahan.
Mark Anthony Solis lethally injected Tuesday evening for the shooting death of 61-year-old grandmother Nancy Weatherly in June of 2010. Just as the lethal dose of pentobarbital began, Solis looked through the glass into the witness area at Weatherly's son and daughter-in-law and said to them, "I hope y'all forgive me." Then he gasped, snorted, and appeared to fall asleep. He was declared dead 18 minutes later. Solis, the second Texas inmate to be executed within a week. Another execution is scheduled 2 weeks from today. Jack Callahan, Fox News.
Recall of children's pajamas for failing to meet federal flammability standards. The pajamas are made by Ragdoll and Rockets. They were sold at clothing stores throughout the country and online. The recall involves 5 different styles of the 100% micro polyester fleece pajamas. And a new Ms. Monopoly game is out. When you start the game, women start out with more money, and when you pass go, you collect $200. Unless you're female, then you get $240. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
One 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Papa and Company on East Washington. You said you ran into my brother last night. He was working. He's at El Dorado. Normally his day off, so we didn't go to Papa and Company for lunch yesterday.
So y'all are going today, I know.
You know, it's real interesting as our relationship with our friends at Papa and Company as you and I eat there all the time. I went in there with a couple of friends on, what was it, Friday. You and your son and a friend of his were there. And it's like becoming, I mean, it was a hot place to begin with, but man, this place is hopping.
I saw a friend of mine from New York yesterday, and I sent her to Papa. She's going in the next couple of days because she said, "Where can I get a great hamburger in Shreveport? Send me to the place. What's the place?" I said, "I got the place. Papa and Company, East Washington. It's just east of Erie. They make their own buns. The bread is fresh. And the burgers are monstrosities."
Burgers and muffalettas and po' boys of all pipes.
Save room for the bread pudding.
I've never had that.
Oh, the bread pudding is
I've
to
never
die
had
for.
that.
I always have to take it to go, though.
And, of course, they have, and this is just my own little thing, they have Diet Dr. Pepper on the fountain. Papa and Company, it's on East Washington. It's awesome. And as we say, we'll see you there. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Councilman Grayson Butcher. City audit is in. Well, the external audit.
Whew.
Yeah, that's a pretty good noise. He'll tell us about that next. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic at the intersection at Line Avenue and Kings Highway, and a major accident on I-20 westbound has things backed up from Spring and Market to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
On 7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Shreveport City Councilman Grayson Butcher is here again for a little bit. Always a pleasure. Hey, Mr. Grayson, welcome back to KEEL. How are you today?
Hey, good morning, Robert and Erin. Appreciate you having me on this morning. I'm doing well.
It looks like we have the final audit. You guys have your hands on it. I'm awaiting its arrival on the Louisiana Legislative Auditors page. I'm going to call Daryl Prepara today to find out how, what's the holdup. But it doesn't look good is what I'm hearing, correct?
It does not, no. There are probably, I went through it and looked and have not studied it extensively, but there are probably about 20 pages of findings in the report.
What jumps off? What glares out the loudest?
well phrased.
Well, the whole thing is pretty loud to me, but basically it's just lack of oversight in our accounting department, from not filing payroll taxes on time to oversight when it comes to the insurance of our money in the bank. There was about $9 million that was not properly insured by the FDIC in 3 different bank accounts. It's just it's a very scary thing for a city that's teetering on bankruptcy anyway, for us to be in a situation like this.
You just said our city's teetering on bankruptcy.
Well, I mean, it is. I feel like it is. I mean, we have a lot going on, and I mean, you think about all the debt that we have, Erin. You and I have discussed this before. We have, $245 million in unfunded debt for our retirement and pension fund. I think you saw that in the last council meeting. We have debt for the consent decree that was estimated at $500 million. It's going to end up being over $1 billion. I mean, we're sucking fumes out there.
And so we're going to take on some more debt in November, aren't we?
Well, that's going to be up to the taxpayers. We do have some immediate needs. We have I've called it a public safety emergency with the age of our fire trucks and the police station and things like that. But that's going to be up to the taxpayers when it comes to the bond issue.
Mr. Grayson, going back to the audit here for a little bit, what stretch of time does this audit cover from? Is it just for 2018, 2017, 18? Fill me in on that.
Well, Robert, that's one thing I wanted to point out. This audit covers 2018 from January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. So this was the prior administration and prior council. So I want to make that perfectly clear. I think that Mayor Perkins' team has been working with the auditor to try to put a lot of corrective measures in place. Now, I guess the proof is going to be in the pudding whenever we have the 2019 audit. But hopefully we've got these corrective measures in place, and we're not making the mistakes that we made last year.
How? And I know you've only been on the council since the first of the year, and this covers 2018. But as you sort of get a look behind the curtain of the bureaucracy of the city of Shreveport, and this audit, this external look at behind the curtain is pointing out all these problems, disasters even. How you got to be saying to yourself, how can this happen? You and the other council people have to be saying, where do we start to patch all the leaks, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, the boat is, at times I tell people this all the time. I feel like that maybe I'm just polishing the brass on the Titanic, and I know that's kind of harsh to say, but it's kind of the way we feel because there are a lot of problems in the city of Shreveport. Having said that, there are a lot of people that are wanting to make the problems go away and that are working to make things better. So I'm not trying to sound an alarm that things are horrible, but we have some real issues in this city.
Assuming for the moment that the council and Mayor Perkins are able to get together to want to fix all of this, and I think that's a pretty easy assumption, pardon me, but the bureaucracy being what it is, I mean, I say on the radio all the time, you've heard me, Shreveport has its own, to some degree, deep state. What kind of resistance, what kind of blowback do you anticipate from the people in that city bureaucracy, or have you found to this point in your tenure as a councilman that they are willing to help to clean things up?
Well, I've said this over and over again, and I really believe this. I don't think that there's anybody in city government right now that wants Shreveport to fail. So I think that that's a positive that we have going for us, that we all want the city to be successful. Now, we may get there in different directions, going different ways, and we may have different ideas of how we're to get from point A to point B. But I don't feel like that there's anybody that's wanting to destroy the city of Shreveport. So I think that that's one thing. I think the other thing is just coming to grips with, look, we have some real issues here. And I think that you've heard myself and a few other council members say that over and over again. The deeper we look into this, that we have some issues in Shreveport, and I think that knowing that you have a problem is the best way to get things done. Is to get things fixed. Is knowing that there is a problem that exists, and I think that this audit, once it's released, is going to be a real eye opener for a lot of the citizens.
When I go read this weekend, because I don't have a life. Am I going to be? Is this going to be one of the worst I've ever seen? Because I read audits. I love that stuff.
Well, and Erin, you and I are a lot alike. I'm kind of an audit nerd myself. I read pretty much everybody's audit and have for several years. I will say this: I have not read one that had this many findings that were this serious. I mean, it goes to like. Keeping up with comp time and vacation time of the police officers, that it's manually done as opposed to being done in a computer. I mean, I can remember when I was the chief at Fire District 5 15 years ago, we had a spreadsheet set up that we did our comp time and vacation. They're still doing it by hand, or maybe it is in spreadsheets, but it's not done in a system that everybody has. I mean, you got that going on. You've got, come on, filing your employer tax records to the LDR late 2 times in a row, and then paying a $200,000 and some odd fine that really does not have to be paid because municipalities don't have to pay that fine, then having to get the money refunded. I mean, it's over and over and over again. So I would suggest, Erin, that you may want to do it at night, maybe after you've had a beverage or two.
Ah, okay. An adult one, yeah.
Okay, so there is going to be on the ballot in November a bond issue, a proposal, $186 million. There's a lot of people who look at the police station, the fire trucks, all the things with the city, infrastructure, streets, roads, etc., that you mentioned that said, we really need to make some improvements here. We need to up the game. And yet at the same time, this audit says, hey, voters, maybe you can't trust the machine itself, i.e. the government of Shreveport, the bureaucracy of Shreveport, because I'm not going to blame any specific person going back over in 2018. But how do you as a councilman, how do you as a voter, when you say, look, I know we need this stuff, but how do we know that if it passes, that it will be properly implemented?
Well, I've said this all along, and I think you can go back and listen to what I've said to Erin and you over the last couple of months. I feel like that we should have taken this bond in smaller pieces. I feel like the police and fire are critical state of emergency. We have to get those done. I will be voting for Proposition 2. My wife will be voting for Proposition 2. I don't agree with some of the numbers that are in there, but I do feel like that it's that critical that we have to have these things to keep Shreveport moving forward and to keep our police officers and firefighters safe.
So you vote no on the other two?
What's that?
You vote no on the other two?
I'm going to be just like every other citizen. I'm going to listen to what the mayor has to say, and I want to see what safeguards we're going to put in place after this audit comes up. They've assured us at the council meeting Monday that they were putting safeguards in place. But the biggest thing that I think as elected officials and city officials and employees, the first and foremost we need to be is good stewards of the taxpayers' money.
One more thing, Grayson, we got to let you go. A little bird told me that the 3 nay votes, you, Nicholson, and Fuller, went into a meeting with the mayor after the meeting. And maybe there was a pitch thrown at you or something like that. Is that accurate? What was that about? Okay,
we did go into a meeting with the mayor. That was I called the mayor and asked him to meet with me on something I would say kind of related to the bond, but unrelated to any pitch. I told him exactly what I told y'all today about how I feel about the bond.
And what was his pitch to you guys?
There really wasn't a pitch. We discussed that. Then we discussed some zoning issues that are going on in Councilman Nicholson's district and a couple of other small issues. We did discuss the audit a little bit, but there really wasn't a pitch. I am not going to actively go out and campaign against this bond issue, but I am going to ask the question similar to what y'all are asking me. Can we actually manage $186 million right now? And at this point, I'm a little concerned about that.
Councilman Grayson Butcher, thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you. Y'all have a good morning, and let's remember 9/11.
You bet.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, traffic time. Ruben's here.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic at the intersection at Line Avenue and Kings Highway, and a major accident on I-20 westbound has things backed up from Spring and Market to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD. Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic at the intersection at Line Avenue and Kings Highway, and a major accident on I-20 westbound has things backed up from Spring and Market to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Well, dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
We're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
Last week, the Caddo Juvenile Justice Center had to release 2 detainees early, not because the kids had been rehabilitated, but because the center had run out of beds.
You know, across America, more than 50,000 young people under the age of 21 are confined in juvenile justice facilities on any given day, and it is in the interest of every community to help these youth build the skills they need to find a job and become productive citizens. But when there are members of the Caddo Parish Commission who see more jail space as the problem instead of a means to rehabilitate, how can we make a difference in the lives of these children?
The problem with juvenile justice isn't that we have too many beds in the detention center. It's that we have too many kids committing crimes.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
What a morning, eh? All the interviews up on the website later and available on the KEEL app. That's KEELnews.com. By the way, back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Kim Commando time.
The next generation iPhones were unveiled yesterday, starting with a $700 basic iPhone 11. With brighter OLED screens, there's a $1,000 iPhone 11 Pro, and for $1,100, the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Kim Commando with Wednesday's Consumer Tech Update. Join the new Commando community, a safe, ad-free social media network built with you in mind. Check it out today at getkim.com. Here's Apple's problem. The new iPhones are so similar to last year's models that customers just aren't going to line up at the Apple Store for them. Yes, the new iPhones use less power and have faster processing, but no one really cares. So the big question for Apple is how to return to the glory days. For now, it can't, so it's focusing on other products, the Apple TV Plus, the new Apple Arcade, a new $500 Apple Watch Series 5, and most interesting of all, an updated $329 iPad. I'm Kim Commando. Dell has something extra for small businesses, up to 45% off during their semi-annual sale. Update to Windows 10 with huge deals on business computers featuring Intel Core processors, plus free shipping on everything. Call Dell's Small Business Technology Advisors to help you achieve your business goals affordably with low monthly payments on the right tech for you. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business-deals.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions. Like Company Pages, where you can get people excited about working for you. And we give you this toy monkey, which will bang its cymbals when the right resume appears. Okay, there is no monkey.
I said there is no monkey!
But Company Pages, for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo to try Company Pages for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Dry weather for the Arklatex through the rest of the week and on into the upcoming weekend. Sunshine here today, 95. Clear tonight, 72. Sunny, hot tomorrow, high 97. Friday, sunshine, 97. Saturday, sunny skies. Saturday's high 98. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.